Yoriichi made Muzan sweat. Just him, out of every human who'd ever lived. And, being the strongest didn't save him from a tragic ending, he failed to kill Muzan when he had the shot, and spent the rest of his life rotting in guilt over it. Died old, died alone, died still blaming himself. So, what if the universe gave him a redo? What if Yoriichi got reborn as Tanjiro Kamado? Would he actually finish the job this time? Let's find out. Yoriichi opens his eyes to two strangers. His brand new parents, Tanjiro and Kai Kamado. No clue what's happening. New body, new family, but something about it feels off in a way he can't place. Like deja vu with extra steps. Years pass, he's growing up in the Kamado house, and random flashes start hitting him out of nowhere. The smell of the forest outside, the creak in the floorboards, sunlight landing on the exact same spot on the wall every morning. Then, it clicks. And here's where it actually gets insane. This isn't some random house the writers picked because it looked cozy. Per the Demon Slayer fanbook, this is the same house Yoriichi shared with his late wife Uta centuries back. After she died, he left to become a demon slayer, came back years later, saved the Kamado's ancestors from a demon attack, handed them the house, and disappeared like he always does. Now, he's reborn straight into that same bloodline. Fate gave the man his old house back with a free family thrown in. Yoriichi isn't wasting this shot. The plan's simple. Get strong, track down Muzan, actually finish him this time instead of journaling about the regret for the next 300 years. Except, pretty quickly, he realizes this new body comes with a downgrade nobody warned him about. It's slower, weaker, and doesn't come pre-installed with the Demon Slayer mark. No transparent world, no inhuman speed, none of the stuff that made him terrifying last time around. What he does instead is get Tanjiro's nose, and it turns out to be an absolute cheat code. Sniffing out fear, danger, and openings before a fight even starts. Instead of sulking around the nerf, he turns his childhood into one long training montage, dragging decades of muscle memory into a body that's supposed to belong to a regular kid. By age 10, he's already stronger and sharper than Tanjiro ever was in that age in canon. Unfortunately, age 10 is also exactly when his whole world is scheduled to burn down again. Right on cue, tragedy hits exactly like it did the first time. Tanjiro passes, Yoriichi becomes the man of the house, and one night while he's out selling charcoal, Muzan shows up and slaughters almost the entire Kamado family. Same tragedy, same demon. Deja vu he did not sign up for twice. He comes home to the bodies, and every memory of losing Uta and his unborn child slams back into him at once. For a second, it looks like history's about to repeat itself exactly. Then, he spots Nezuko, still breathing. He grabs her and runs. She turns mid-transformation and lunges at him. Giyu shows up, sword drawn, ready to finish her off. Except this time, he's not fighting some random village kid. He's fighting a man with 2 lifetimes of combat experience crammed into a 10-year-old's body. Yoriichi holds his own well enough to make Giyu's jaw drop, but still goes down. The guy's a Hashira after all. Nezuko snaps out of her rage just long enough to shield her brother, and that's what convinces Giyu to spare her. Both siblings get sent to Orokodaki, and this is where canon starts falling apart. Yoriichi masters water breathing in months instead of years, blowing through the final selection so fast, he skips meeting Sabito and Makomo entirely, and starts racking up a reputation as the wonder child before he's even properly introduced to the plot. 2 years later, he reawakens sun breathing and his mark, this time able to switch it on and off instead of it draining his life non-stop. Still not at full Sengoku power, but closing in fast. Right as Nezuko wakes up and the siblings hit the road, Yoriichi catches a scent in Asakusa he hasn't smelled in centuries. The same scent that ruined both of his lives. He follows it straight through the crowd and comes face to face with Muzan for the first time in his new life. The second Muzan clocks the Hanafuda earrings and catches a flicker of the mark, he doesn't stay around for a reunion. Full PTSD flashback. Turns a random bystander into a demon for a distraction and bolts. Classic Muzan, zero accountability. Lady Tamayo shows up soon after, and Yoriichi instantly recognizes her as the demon he spared centuries ago. Small world. From here, the beats mostly follow canon. Muzan sends Suzumaru and Yahaba after the siblings, except Yoriichi clears both without breaking a sweat. Fast forward through the mansion arc, where he links up with Inosuke and Zenitsu, and the trio wreck the place easily. Then Mount Natagumo, and this is where the canon quietly falls apart. Yoriichi fights Rui with full sun breathing and his mark active, and it's not really a fight, more a formality. Rui folds instantly. Only downside, Nezuko never gets pushed hard enough to awaken her blood demon art, so her whole arc stalls out while her brother clears the simulation solo. Hashida interrogate him about traveling with a demon. Sanemi still takes a shot at Nezuko, and Yoriichi doesn't react like the calm Tanjiro everyone knows. He lands real hits, tied up and all, shaking every Hashida in the room. Kaguya steps in, vouches for the siblings, and the story moves on. Then the Mugen train. Same setup until Akaza shows up, except this time, Yoriichi jumps in immediately instead of leaving Rengoku to fight alone. Two opponents, zero mercy. Akaza's getting pressured for the first time in decades. Rengoku pushes so hard, he reawakens his own mark, and together, they actually decapitate Akaza. Except, that doesn't kill upper ranks. Akaza grabs his own head and sprints off, leaving Yoriichi furious, but Rengoku alive. News spreads fast. 2 Slayers nearly ended in Upper Moon 3, and Yoriichi goes viral within the core. That sets up the rematch, because at the Swordsmith Village, Muzan sends Akaza back for round 2. This time, there's no running. Yoriichi overwhelms him completely, and uses the same technique he once used on Muzan himself, slicing him too fast and clean for regeneration to keep up. Akaza is finally permanently dead. With his strongest bodyguard gone early, Muzan's officially out of patience and out of allies. No more chess moves, just an all-out assault on the Demon Slayer Corps, leading into the Hashira training arc. Except, this time Yoriichi trains them himself, the strongest Slayer in history, teaching a room full of prodigies how to awaken their marks faster. Even Shinobu, who never manages it in canon, pulls it off this time. Yoriichi locks in his own mark permanently after brutal training that would put most people in the hospital. Then, the final arc kicks off. Muzan sneaks into the Ubuyashiki mansion to kill Kaguya, walks straight into a trap, gets cornered and panics. So, Nakime activates the Infinity Castle and everyone gets pulled in for the finale. Since Akaza's already dead, the castle sends Yoriichi straight to Muzan, alongside Giyu and Rengoku. No hesitation, no monologue. Yoriichi immediately unleashes all 12 forms combined into the 13th, trying to end it in one strike. Except, reality checks him instantly. This body isn't the original one, and even with the mark active permanently, it doesn't have the Sengoku-era speed. Muzan slips out of the attack, and it turns into a brutal war of attrition, while the rest of the Slayers scramble to survive. Elsewhere, the other fights mostly follow canon. Shinobu goes down against Doma despite awakening her mark, but Inosuke and Kanao avenge her with their own poison. Zenitsu finally gets his moment against Kaigaku. Sanemi, Muichiro, and Genya kill Kokushibo, though it costs both Muichiro and Genya their lives. Obanai and Mitsuri buy Yushido enough time to mess with Nakime, forcing Muzan to kill her himself, which collapses the Infinity Castle and drags the fight back onto solid ground. Now, it's everyone against Muzan in the open. Rengoku awakens his mark again, giving the group a serious boost. The Slayers wear Muzan down while Tamayo's drug quickly kills his regeneration. Cornered, Muzan goes full sprint mode, unloading everything just to buy a few seconds to escape, and his attacks land hard enough to put Yoriichi on the ground. That's when both his lives hit him at once. Uta, his unborn child, Tanjiro, Kai, everyone he's lost, all because of the same demon standing in front of him. Yoriichi rises, closes the distance instantly, finally lands the 13th form clean. Muzan tries his classic escape trick, splitting into pieces like he did back in the Sengoku era, except Yoriichi's already seen this move before. No chance this time. 7 hearts, 5 brains. gone in one motion. Muzan Kibutsuji is dead, for real. Yoriichi smiles as the sun rises, and for the first time in 2 lifetimes, it's not a smile weighed down by failure. Because the fight ends so much faster this time, almost every Hashira who's made it out of the Infinity Castle actually survives. The only casualty is Kyomei, who succumbs to the toll of the mark shortly after, since he was already pushing 27. And, unfortunately, that same curse eventually catches up to everyone who awakened the mark, Yoriichi included, meaning he only gets a few peaceful years before his time runs out. But this time he doesn't die alone, and he doesn't die in regret. He dies knowing he finally finished the job he started centuries ago, and hey, at least Obanai and Mitsuri get to live out that love story fans have been waiting for since day one. So, yeah. That's how it goes if Yoriichi got reborn as Tanjiro. Stronger, faster, and honestly kinda terrifying for everyone around him. But what if this whole reincarnation thing wasn't just a Demon Slayer trick? What if the strongest sorcerer to ever live, Gojo Satoru, got reborn as Yuji Itadori? That's exactly what the next video's about, and trust me, you don't want to miss that one. So, subscribe to the channel now!